Our film starts in a diner where a British woman starts telling a young girl a version of a Bible story, but then hinting that she's an angel sent to rid the world of evil people. This transitions to what's seemingly a flashback of her and a blonde woman driving really fast down a street. As the blonde's driving, she has flashes of a lesbian makeout session, which leads to a flashback within a flashback of her and the brunette at a party. The brunette in the car asks her to tell her what's going on, which leads to us seeing in the flashback that the blonde, Brooke, murdered some douche actor named Warren James, who was going all P. Diddy on some innocent girl in a bathroom. She then grabs her girlfriend Rhea, aka the brunette, and runs away. Rhea tries to tell Brooke that they can go back and tell the police what happened, but considering Brooke pretty much super murdered the guy after he walked away, self-defense is out the window. The car scene goes nowhere pretty quickly, with Rhea finding a feather on the windshield and then demanding Brooke pull over so she can run off, having a breakdown after Brooke accidentally runs over a possum. Like she is seriously freaking out over a possum after her girlfriend's like, I stabbed a guy 30 times back at a party. Anyway, eventually some weird smoke shows up which knocks Brooke down. Brooke swinging at it with a stick because fighting smoke seems doable in her mind, but it eventually gets her and she disappears. A pretty hot woman then appears from it who we find out is God. Sexy God tells Rhea she's been chosen to be a vengeful angel. God then starts talking trash about Brooke and how she's not a good person. Rhea asks God to bring Brooke back and God is like, well, I did just say she's evil, but you're pretty, so if I'm making you immortal, then I'll ignore everything I just said and make her immortal as well to make you happy. God eventually leaves and we see that Brooke and Rhea crawl out of a cocoon. We then get to two officers who are watching women in bikinis chasing cocks, chickens. Nothing really important happens here, seems to just be establishing them as comic relief, and we learn the head cop is a bit of a male chauvinist, asking female cop to bake him cookies. Back with the girls, they walk up to two guys, a kind of squirrely innocent guy named Bill, and a kind of douche hitchhiker he was picking up. Brooke goes stage 5 horn dog on poor Bill, who wants nothing to do with her, sniffing him up and down. Rhea tries to get Brooke to leave, but the hitchhiker starts hitting on her, which she wants nothing to do with. She then pounces and feeds on Bill, and the hitchhiker runs off. Brooke is then like, hey, eating people is awesome, and I should have been doing this for years, and she tracks down and pounces on the hitchhiker as well. Back with poor old sweet innocent Bill, Rhea talks to his dead body about how sorry she is. She then reprimands Brooke for her killing spree and tells her there are rules that she needs to follow. They then steal Bill's truck and drives off. In the truck, Rhea continues to reprimand Brooke for doing exactly what Sexy God says she would do, then gives her more vampire rules stating they need to get inside before daylight. They then run into a gas station before they fry, completely ignoring the truck they're in is literally connected to a camper. Brooke then goes into super flirt mode to Ham from the Sandlot, who gets super threatened by them touching the blinds. When Ham, aka Dan, starts getting into the idea that Brooke might not be trying to rob him, Rhea pulls her away knowing she's getting hungry. Meanwhile, we see the cops find the bodies of Bill and the hitchhiker. Rhea, back at the gas station, then reveals that she's getting hungry and chooses to feed from Brooke. They then watch TV at the gas station where a show just happens to be covering the death of the actor Warren James, where we find out that a lot of time has passed and the girl Brooke saved sold her out, portraying to the media that Brooke killed him unprovoked. Rhea decides for some reason to then have a whole recap of their situation in front of Dan, who goes back to being alarmed. She then has to save him from Brooke. Brooke then attacks Rhea, snapping her neck, then turns her attention back to Dan. Meanwhile, at the crime scene, a family stops and the dad makes fun of Officer Shu with lots of little people jokes. Brooke eventually finds Danny, but tells him she won't kill him yet, since then she'll be bored until dark. Lucky for her, the family from the crime scene arrives and the wife heads inside the convenience store, but Brooke convinces Danny to get the woman to leave. The woman then tells her husband that she felt something was wrong in there and wants him to go check it out. Despite his wife repeatedly trying to explain to him that Dan and Brooke seem kind of fishy, he dismisses her and walks around the store like he owns the place, completely ignoring that Brooke clearly looks like she's been in a knockdown, drag-out brawl. This changes when he gets to the counter and sees Rhea's dead body, and only then he realizes he might be in some type of danger. Dan finally, after all this, runs, but she bites his leg on the way out the door. Lucky for him, she's forced to let go when he opens the door and the sun burns her. He tourniquets his leg and hobbles off while pissed off Brooke is mad that her face is half burned, which conveniently she can see in a mirror, so sexy god-made vampires do have a reflection. When the wife comes out of the bathroom, angry Brooke blames the husband for letting Dan get away and her face being burnt, so she snaps the wife's neck and slits his throat with a knife. Dan tries to explain to Officer Felix what happened, but the officer is very unempathetic about what he's saying and accuses Dan of being on drugs. Dan then hobbles off, and Officer Felix calls in that the suspects are in the mini-mart. Felix arrives at the mini-mart where he sees the body of the father. Brooke then tricks him into wildly shooting, resulting in his shooting the wife's body. For some reason, after that, Felix just points the gun at her, threatening to shoot, but it takes forever for him to finally do it, though it doesn't affect her when he does. She then turns the gun on him and shoots him. Eventually, the sheriff arrives, which must have taken forever since it's dark by then. Brooke throws Felix's body through a window, and the sheriff is now angry that his little buddy is dead. He tells the female officer to go check on the girl in the car, since that's all women are good for, then screams in the convenience store for Brooke to try that on a full-sized man. Brooke then heads outside and grabs the sheriff before grabbing his gun and shooting both him and the female officer before taking off in the sheriff's SUV. Back at the convenience store, Sexy God shows back up and revives Rhea. Apparently, Sexy God has a lesbian crush on Rhea, so she gets unlimited respawns, so she has to reboot her herself and only after dark. After we see that the female cop survived the shooting, Rhea grabs the daughter for, reasons, and they get into the town's only police car that belonged to Officer Felix and are somehow able to drive it despite the car most likely being made specifically for little people, but we'll ignore that. Brooke, on her drive, has flashbacks of the only 5 minutes in the movie where her and Rhea were happy, but then stops as she sees a couple arguing. Brooke throws the boyfriend in the back of the truck, and before she can get to the girlfriend, Rhea and the daughter arrive. Brooke tries to tell Rhea how much she loves her, in spite of the whole murdering her earlier thing, but Rhea reprimands her before doing a Street Fighter II Hadouken to Brooke, knocking her across the desert and impaling her through a road sign. This brings us back to the beginning of the film, where we see that Rhea was telling the daughter the story of everything that happened up to that point. The film ends with a nice waitress feeling bad for them and giving them their food for free. We then see that Brooke's body is no longer impaled on the post and is missing. Thanks for watching. If you like these recaps, please leave a like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to know every time I update. There is now an option to be a channel member where you'll get access to exclusive recaps from late-night vampire catalogs like Showtime, Cinemax After Dark, USA Up All Night, and much more. If you want to help my channel grow, please check out my Patreon, where members can get exclusive content that can't be uploaded on YouTube, along with download options. Link is in the description.